And with that, we say welcome into the show. You know what this is. Well, maybe you don't know what this is, but you should know what this is. Welcome into the show, Sentell's Intel. I am your host, the sensational Sentell Whiteman. I am back, baby. It's been a long time. I shouldn't have left you without a dope beat to step to, but I'm back. You know what it is, Sentell's Intel, the best damn sports podcast, period. The undisputed champion of sports podcasts. So much to get into on today's show. We have a big time game tonight for the national championship. The Yukon Huskies and the San Diego State Aztecs will battle for the right to be called national champions tonight at 9:20. Check it out on CBS. But last night we had the women's national championship game. We should be focusing more and talk about the actual game. LSU did win the game. They are your national champions. They won the game 102-85, but that is not the story. That is not the story of the LSU Iowa national championship game. And I'm going to get into it in just a second. Again, welcome into the program. Going to be here about half an hour. We're going to get you in, get you out. Get all this information I gotta get out, and I'm gonna piece it out. And I'll be back tomorrow for another half hour of the show. But LSU, Iowa, like I said, LSU wins the game 102-85. But that is not where the story begins, and that is definitely not where the story ends. We are not focused on LSU and Iowa, the actual basketball game. We are more so focused on LSU and Iowa because, well, much like everything in this country. Race plays such a major part in everything that happens in this country. How black people are covered, how their white counterparts are covered. It's all stigma. It's there, and for some reason we can't seem to move further past this, even in sports where you would think there'd be some meritocracy in sports because we all about the best player, the best talent. We don't care what color they are. We don't. I certainly don't care what color anybody is. I just want to see great players be great, compete hard, and but we can see in this country we're so divided. Some people refuse to acknowledge what is clearly in front of them. And this is why we have so many issues. You can see something, the same exact thing, but we can see it in two different ways. We can see it so clearly different. And I just don't understand it. And of course, I'm speaking about Angel Reese and her post-game celebration, some of her things that she did, and I had no problem with none of it. I'm a braggadocious type person. A winner goes to spars. I'm a man who loves to brag and talk trash, and when it goes the other way, I can take the trash. If you take it, you gotta be able to dish it out. I love it. It's a part of what makes great players: the confidence, the swag, and that's what makes Caitlin Clark such a great player. And she does the John Cena, and she talks trash the entire game, and most of us love it. All of us love it. Most of us love it. Now Angel Reese comes out and she does her celebratory gestures, and now the world has a problem. Well, not really the world. Most of white America. Let's just get that out there. Most of white America. And she's being called classless and an idiot and all kind of other takes that were just I couldn't believe some of the stuff I was seeing and reading yesterday. I just didn't understand any of it. I mean, we're talking about a 20-year-old female playing a game at a high level and being criticized for celebrating. I don't want to hear about all this classless and what is sportsmanship, and I don't want to hear that. I just don't want to hear that stuff. When you're competing at this level, you go battle, and when you win, you're allowed to celebrate. To me, you're allowed to celebrate any way you want to celebrate. That's just me. I have no issue with what happened yesterday, but again, this goes to a larger issue that we have when we come, and it's the media. I don't know. I mean, it's the media because they've covered the way they cover, the way they write stories about our black athletes. This is how they do these things. They convinced you that when we celebrate, that when we're bogus, when we're braggadocious, that when we show passion, it's some negative connotation with that. They've tricked us and convinced us that it's bad. It's not a good look when we do it. But you see Tom Brady pumping his chest. You see some of these other big time athletes, Larry Bird. We just spoke about Larry Bird earlier today. I mean, when they brag, it's fun. It's cool. Look how passionate he is. He loves the game so much. You see, these are the kind of cold words that they use for white athletes that they don't use for us when we doing the same emotion. We share the same emotions, but they describe it in a whole totally different way. And that is a huge problem. And that's a media thing. You know why we have such a big problem with the media? Because again, when you have diversity in all different walks of life, you don't have these things. But in all these in these different venues and different avenues of workplace and this, you don't have enough you don't have enough, mostly white media, mostly print media, writing about and print about black athletes. So this is what you get because they control the narrative. They control how they see things, and you put these words with certain people and attach it to certain ethnicities. Well, I say that so bad. I brutalized that, but that's okay. We're live. But I just want to, again, I just don't have an issue with it, and I wish some people would just shut the hell up about it. And it's all stemming from race. There's no other way around it. There's no other way around it because I can assure you, if LSU had played South Carolina and Angel Reese had beat Carolina, say this just for the sake of argument, and she did that to Leah Boston or any of the Carolina players, we would not be talking about this. We would not be talking about this. We would not be talking about this at all. We're talking about this because Caitlin Clark is the great white hope. And like I say, I love Caitlin Clark. I love her game. I love her moxie. I love all of that comes with that. I love it. I love it. But we can't accept behavior from one person, the same exact behavior, and then go around and make such a negative thing when this other person does it. So we can't do that. We can't live in that world. I refuse to live in that world. But it was a great ball game for LSU. Iowa fought back many times, but LSU controlled the game for most of it from second quarter on. The Alexis, the point guard, she was sensational. She had 19 points in the second half. And they just kind of controlled and cruised on to the finish line. Kim Mulkey, don't have a lot of nice things to say about her, but as a basketball coach, she's one of the best to ever do it. She's been at LSU for 2 years, and they're already national champions, already a national powerhouse in just 2 seasons. She's turned that program around. Again, I mentioned Angel Reese will be back next year because she's a sophomore. And also Caitlin Clark will be back next year because she's just a junior. So we'll get to see more great basketball from those 2 players. Media, do better. Black media members, hold your white media member counterparts, hold them accountable. And I would certainly hold people accountable. We're not gonna do this. We're not gonna do this on my watch. Never. It will never happen. We won't not do this. So this is how it goes. So let's move along. With the women basketball, I mentioned the national championship game tonight, UConn, San Diego State. Let's kind of transition to the NBA a little bit, man. It's the last week of the season. So we're getting out to the nitty gritty. Let's kind of go through the standings of the NBA right now. Eastern Conference, the Milwaukee Bucks are the number 1 seed currently. Boston is second. Philadelphia is third. Boston is about 2 games out of first. They got a chance to catch Milwaukee for that 1 seed. Probably not. Philly is third. Cleveland is fourth. The New York Knicks are 5th. My Brooklyn Nets are 6th. The Miami Heat are 7th. Atlanta is 8, Toronto is 9, and Chicago is 10. And I mentioned those teams through 7 through 10 because if you don't know now by now, the NBA has this new play-in. So 7 versus 10, the 8 versus 9. You're the 7th seed or the highest seed in those series. You win one game, you automatically advance. If you're the lower seed, you have to win twice to advance to actually be in the playoffs, with the top 8 seeds will go on to the playoffs. In the Western Conference, you have the Denver's the number 1 seed, Memphis is the number 2 seed, Sacramento 3, Phoenix is 4, the Clippers are 5, Golden State is 6, LA is 7, New Orleans is 8, Minnesota is 9, and OKC is 10. Now, Lakers are virtually a half a game out of the 5th spot. The Clippers and Golden State are virtually tied for the 5th spot. Lakers are half a game behind both of those teams. Lakers are playing fantastic basketball. I remember the moves. I wish I could have talked about the moves on here, but getting D'Angelo Russell, getting Jared Vanderbilt, getting Malik Beasley, the emergence of Reeves, Austin Reeves. Austin Reeves? I think it's Austin Reeves. Has been a revelation. If you can keep Anthony Davis upright, you always got a chance. And I don't worry about LeBron. He's coming back off a long layoff from a foot injury, ankle. They're looking good. They're playing good basketball. I think they get in the playoffs, especially at a 5 or 6 seed. They're going to be a tough out. That Western Conference is wide open to me. I don't see a clear-cut favorite. Denver is the 1 seed, but Jokic has been injured lately, has been hurt. But we don't trust Denver defensively. They can't stop anybody. Memphis has had their issues. Steven Adams is out. Brandon Clark has been hurt for the season. So they're kind of small. Ja has had his off-the-court issues and situations. We know all about that. Sacramento has been a really good team. How much do you trust Sacramento? Got good young players, Fox, Sabonis. You got Harrison Barnes. Keegan Murray has been a great ball player for them. Has been outstanding. I mean, a rookie. He's been really good. From Phoenix, got Kevin Durant. After the trade, if they can keep him upright with Devin Booker and Chris Paul, don't know what you're gonna ever get out of DeAndre Ayton. That's the biggest question mark about Phoenix. Will DeAndre Ayton play big and defend? Because the other guys don't really defend. He needs to be big, blocking shots, protecting the paint, all that good stuff that comes with that being a big man. What we gonna get out of here? Their bench is not so much, whatever. But Golden State, I mentioned them. They struggled all year. They're supposed to get Andrew Wiggins back soon. We'll see how that goes. New Orleans, without Zion basically has missed the majority of the season again due to injury after they gave him his max deal in the offseason. So that's kind of your NBA standings. It's wild. We'll talk more about that as we go because we're in the midst of the NBA season and the playoffs are on their way. So we'll have a bunch to talk about when it comes to that. Speaking of NBA, man, let's talk about the MVP battle. Man, I don't know. I really don't know. I'm supposed to have all the answers. I don't have all the answers. You tell me. You tell me how you decide the MVP this year. You tell me how you can find a way to separate these guys. You have Giannis Antetokounmpo of the Bucks. He's averaging 31, almost 12 rebounds a game, almost 6 assists a game on 55% shooting. Joel Embiid, Philadelphia 76ers, is averaging 33 points, 10 rebounds. He's 4.7 assists and shooting 54% from the field. And then that's the back-to-back two-time MVP, Nikola Jokic. He's only averaging 24, almost 25 points a game, 12 rebounds, and 10 assists. So basically a damn triple-double, and he shoots 63% from the field. 63%. I don't know how you separate those guys. Giannis is in first place. Jokic is in first place. Joel Embiid is in third. I mean, you look at those teams, you say MVP. Who's the MVP? The best player is Giannis. In my eyes, plays the hardest. His game, defensively on both ends of the court, he's just really, really good. But how do you separate these guys? You say MVP. Well, if you take one off the team, how good would the team be? I mean, that's such a tough thing to really kind of quantify. I mean, Giannis has been without Middleton most of the year, all of the year, he's been out him. Joel Harden has missed some time. Tyrese Maxey missed some time early in the season. Jokic, Jamal Murray is in and out of the lineup. Michael Porter has been in and out of the lineup. So you can't even separate it from that point. Like I have no idea how the NBA, how you vote, who's the MVP. I mean, you got a couple games left, a handful of games to go. How do you decide who is the MVP in the NBA right now? I got 3 candidates. If you don't want to get the Jokic again, he's back to back. Giannis has won it twice. So just for a sympathetic vote, I would probably give it to Joel Embiid. I mean, but that wouldn't be primarily because of on the court stuff. I mean, I just look at these guys. And you know another thing about these guys, and I was talking about to my coworkers about this recently. You realize the world, not America, the world has 4 of the top 5 players right now currently in the NBA. If we're being completely honest, the 4 best players in the NBA are not American-born players. You're talking about Giannis, you're talking about Luka, you're talking about Jokic, and you're talking about Joel Embiid. You're talking about those 4 guys. You're talking about those 4 guys are the best players in the league, and they're not American-born. Now, we was talking about doing we was doing this rhetorical, hypothetical, I should say hypothetical, I'm sorry, basketball game. Let's forget about the East and West All-Stars. Let's forget about the captains. Let's do world versus United States. And I'm thinking about this game and I'm going, now the world will be top heavy as hell because they got those 4 really, really good players. But then Americans have got this lot of depth. There's a lot of really good depth and talent of American players. But I would give the nod to the world players because it's so good at the top heavy there. If LeBron was still prime and KD was still prime, I would probably shift to America. But since they're not prime and you look at American players, who are your best American players? Who is the best American player right now? That's the question. Who is the best American player? I mean, honest question. I mean, I'm not going to put LeBron in the category right now. I think we get it. LeBron is going to be done here soon. Who is the best American player? Who is the best American player in the league right now? Is it Jason Tatum? Is it Ja Morant? Like I said, Kevin Durant been injured. He's kind of in that LeBron range. He's kind of moving on. So who? Give me your opinion out there. If you're watching the show, who is the best American-born player in the league right now? Who is your opinion? Who is the best American-born player in the league right now? I mean, I guess most of us would say Jason Tatum. I think most of us would. Kawhi Leonard's always hurt. Paul George is always hurt. You could say Ja, Dame, maybe, but he's north of 30 right now. So who are your best American players right now? Because I mean, right now the world is catching up. The world is catching up and has caught up. Because I would agree. Would you agree out there that the 4 out of 5 best players in the league are not from America? I don't think you get an argument that Luka, Jokic, and Embiid, and Giannis are the best players in the league. The 4 best players in the league. I don't think anyone would argue that. So once you get down to the 5th, like it's got to be JT. I see a JT vote. I mean, like I say, it's Ja, it's Dame, it's some of the younger kids. I mean, but it's a lot of really good players from other countries that are playing in this league right now. If you look around, Shea Gilgeous and the Siakams and all of these guys, I mean, these guys are not from here. You know, these guys are not from here. Jimmy's getting old. Jimmy Butler's getting old. So you look like, okay, you got this new guy coming in next year. The guy from France, gonna be the number 1 overall pick. And so, so where are we going? America got the depth. I think they got the depth of talent, but the top level talent is starting to be foreign players. And somebody said the KD still unstoppable. I would agree when he's healthy, but being a Nets fan, I can tell you that it's not often. You can't really count on Kevin Durant right now from a health standpoint, but you're right. When he's out there, he's really good. I wouldn't call him unstoppable. I saw him get stopped. in the playoffs last year against Boston. But no, you're right. He's really good. But I'm not counting. Like, look, KD's 34, 35. LeBron's on North. Let me get back to a 30 and under. Let me get about 30 and under American players. Who are your 30 and under really good American players? Let's leave LeBron out. Let's take KD out. Chris Paul, let's take them guys out. It's under 30. Give me your 5 best under 30 players. I work on this list tomorrow. When I come back on, I should have a list for you of my top 5 American-born players. I try to bring some clarity to this. Yeah. Oh, anyway, thank y'all for tuning in to the show, man. We appreciate that. Sentell, we're live on YouTube, back where it all started. It's the best damn sports podcast. I'm your host, the sensational Sentell Wild. I'm just chopping it up on a Monday afternoon, on a Monday evening. We talked about the women's basketball, college basketball championship, LSU over Iowa. We spoke about that. We spoke about the NBA playoffs. Got a big game tonight with the national championship, men's national championship. San Diego State, UConn, looking for their 5th, I believe, national championship. I want to say, I think Jim Calhoun won 3, and then Ali won 1. I'm thinking they're looking for their 5th national championship. I believe it. Obviously, San Diego State looking for their first national championship in school history. And I want to say this would be the first non-Power 5 championship since maybe UNLV. I want to say that seems right to me that San Diego State would be the first non-Power 5 team to win a championship in college basketball since UNLV, which was in the early 90s. I want to say I'm right about that. Don't hold me to a fire. It's just good to be back, man, talking some sports. I know it's the off season, but tomorrow we're gonna come in here. I'm gonna talk about the NFL draft. Because let's kind of switch gears. We'll talk about the draft tomorrow. Let's kind of go to another big story that's been happening throughout the offseason. The quarterback situation in the NFL, Lamar Jackson specifically, and then Aaron Rodgers situation he has going on. Lamar has asked for a trade. He broke that news, but I think we all kind of figured that Lamar did that, or the talks had broken down because these two sides have been way far apart when it comes to negotiating this deal. Because typically, you don't let quarterbacks that you believe in get to the end of their contract, and that Dallas learned the hard way with Dak Prescott. No, most of the time, these guys when you see what you see, Pat Mahomes, I'm pretty sure after it might have been his 3rd year in the league, but his 2nd year starting, he got this big, ridiculous contract, which is really not. We look at it now, it was huge then, but he's kind of fallen through the pack. But the point was, they gave him a contract after 2 years of starting. Now, I get it, he was an MVP and he won a Super Bowl. So it's easy to say, well, we know that guy got the goods. But when Lamar Jackson was an MVP, has carried your franchise for the last 5 seasons, and you let him get to a 5th year, I don't understand. Now you're upset because he wants guaranteed money. And this is typically what happens with contracts in all sports. The first guy sets the market. The next guy usually go over. Whether he's better than that guy or not, that's just where it goes. But for some reason, this quarterback market has not done that. It hasn't. Since Pat Mahomes' deal, it hasn't done that. Then the guaranteed money has got incrementally better. But we thought that after Kirk Cousins got his guaranteed money, that most of all these NFL deals would be guaranteed, which they are still not, which is still unbelievable to me that the most physical sport in our country, in the world, doesn't have guaranteed contracts for the most part. So when I tell people all the time, when they watch these and see these big deals come up on the NFL, and I tell them, stop. Don't look at that big old number. See, it's a number right there in those little quotation marks right there about guaranteed money. Because that's the only thing that he's getting for sure is the guaranteed money. Don't look at that big number. Look at the guaranteed money. But anyway, Dak got his money. I think Aaron might have been next. Kyler Murray got his money. Russell got his money. So, and then Deshaun Watson broke the whole mold because he got $230 million guaranteed. Nobody had ever done that. No one came close to that. I want to say that Kyler Murray got 100 plus guaranteed, which was ridiculous at the time for a guy that had done nothing. And this is why, and this is exactly why, this is why Lamar wants his money. You look around the league, you see these guys getting their money. Derek Carr's getting paid. Jimmy Garoppolo's getting paid. You see a guy like Daniel freaking Jones gets $160 million. $160 million for Daniel Jones. And a former MVP can't get his money. And I'm all about getting the money. You seen me post, I wanted that to get his money. Whether he was worth it or not, the market dictates what you're worth. Not if you're really great or not. If you want to do that, then you should pay accordingly. But once you set the market and you pay people like Jimmy Garoppolo and you pay people like Daniel Jones, you pay Baker, you pay these people, then you got to pay the piper for an MVP of the league. You got to pay him. This guy was an MVP of the league and can't get his money. Can't get his money. Now, how much you want? I don't know. Reportedly turned down $133 million guaranteed. I don't know how much truth that is. That's 3 years. The point is he wants 5 years guaranteed. He wants at least $200 million guaranteed. I would venture out to say he wants $200 million guaranteed. Okay, that's the starting point. Ravens, can you kind of get together? But I think they're done. I think the Ravens are done with Lamar. I think Lamar's done with the Ravens. So I think it's mutually amicable that they split. And I think that's what's going to happen. I don't know who's going to. I wish the 49ers had the draft compensation. We don't have the draft compensation. Oh, no, the money either. But I think we could come up with the money, but we don't have the draft compensation because if you make an offer for him right now, you would have to give up 2 first-round picks. We don't have a first-round pick in 2024. We, as in San Francisco 49ers. Now, what I would like to see Lamar do, from my standpoint, sign the transition tag. That way the Ravens have your right. Now a team can come in with less than 2 first-round picks. They could give up a first or third. They could give up a third, a second, fourth. You could do some things differently once he's under the has signed the tag. But I don't think he's going to sign the tag. I think that relationship is over. I don't see Lamar ever playing for the Ravens again. So, but it just sucks. We get here. That's why you don't let quarterbacks get to the end of their contract. You believe in a guy, you sign him early. That's what you do. You sign him early so you can avoid this situation. Let me see what we got. Comments. Daniel Jones earned his money on the field. Daniel Jones earned his money on the field. Get out of here. Daniel Jones did nothing. Daniel Jones threw 15 TD passes this year in 17 games. He threw 15 TD passes in 17 games. That's the guy you want to go to bat for? That's the guy you want to go to war with? You want to go to battle? That's what you going to stand your ground on? Daniel Jones earned his money. Daniel Jones earned his money. 15 TD passes in a league. I know his receivers suck. I will give him some leeway on the receivers. His receivers stunk. 17 games, you can only throw 15 TD passes. And when the league is designed to throw the football, the league is designed and basically is set up for quarterbacks to thrive and throw for 4,000 yards and a gazillion TDs. A guy threw for less than a TD a game, and you telling me he deserved his money? See, this is why, you can't take stuff so serious because, Lamar going, yeah. If that guy worth $160 million, then how much is Lamar worth? Like really, if Daniel Jones, you think Daniel Jones is worth $160 million, how much is Lamar worth? And again, the Giants' hands were tied. You let a quarterback get to the end. You don't really know. You don't really know. You don't want to leave because he could be because you don't really know because he haven't showed you enough. He had some flashes last year, but don't get this twisted. I'm not finishing shit on Daniel Jones. They made the playoffs. But I just sit here and say Daniel Jones earned his money. That is just flat out asinine, asinine, 10, 11, 12. But I think Lamar should get his money. And I'm going to, get out here in a few minutes. Like I said, I will stay 30 minutes. I'll be back again tomorrow. We'll talk more about the NFL draft. And we'll get back on this NFL topic. And we'll talk about the top 5 American-born players. Because I don't know. I want to give this list. I need to think more about it. Who are the top 5 best American NBA players? But Lamar should get his money. I rooted for Dak to get his money. Zeke to get his money. I want people to get their money. And I want guaranteed contracts in the NFL to become a normal thing. The most dangerous sport in the world, we can't get guaranteed contracts. Nah, this isn't how it should be. But I want to thank everybody for tuning into the program. It's been fun getting back. Like I said, I'm going to get in, get out. Let's get it quick. Let's keep it crisp. Let y'all people engage with me, talk. Let's go. Man, we're not finna sit here and talk about Daniel Jones, man. I'm not finna sit here and talk about this. Everybody knows Saquon Barkley being healthy was the biggest reason why the Giants went to the playoffs. If Saquon Barkley gets hurt again this past season, they don't make the playoffs. That's not doing it. The Giants defense was a lot better. Brian Daboll is absolutely a great coach, but Daniel Jones is just a good player. He ain't worth $160 million. But again, you get what the market bear. They paid him his market value. That's the market value for a starting quarterback or above average quarterback. That's the starting market. The best. What's with this injury thing? Again with this? Hey, man, we're going to talk about that tomorrow on the show, okay? I get into that injury thing with this ridiculous about Lamar's injured all the time. We're going to talk about that too. Again, the media has spent that again. They talk about athletic quarterbacks who get injured a lot, when I know plenty of quarterbacks who stand in the pocket and have got injured also. But we'll talk more about that tomorrow on the hottest sports podcast in the South, the best damn sports podcast, period, the undisputed champion of sports podcast, Sentell. I have been your host, the sensational Sentell Wideman. I will see you guys.